Have you ever sat in your car after a long shift, hands gripping the steering wheel, staring at the digital clock on the dashboard, and felt a crushing weight in your chest? Not the weight of the job, you're used to that, but the weight of the numbers. You work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. You serve your community. You take the risks. But when you look at your bank account on a Tuesday night, the numbers don't reflect the sweat you put in. Maybe you're like I was. I spent 25 years as a police officer. I saw the worst of humanity, and I saw the best. I prided myself on my intuition. I could look at a crime scene and tell you exactly how the glass shattered. I could look a suspect in the eye and know within seconds if he was lying. But for 2 decades, I was lying to myself. I was a successful professional who was one missed paycheck away from losing the roof over my head. I carried a badge, a sidearm, and a mountain of secret guilt. The guilt of a man who could protect a city, but couldn't protect his own family's future. It happened during my 22nd year on the force. We were processing a scene, a simple burglary, and I was training a rookie. He looked at me and said, "Sir, I can't wait to have the kind of stability you have. 20 years in, you must have it all figured out." I forced a smile and nodded, but inside I was reeling. That morning, my debit card had been declined at a gas station for a $20 fill-up. I had 3 different credit cards maxed out. I was robbing Peter to pay Paul every single month, shuffling balances just to keep the lights on. I had the pension coming, sure, but I was drowning in the now. The guilt peaked a week later. My daughter needed a specialized tutor for her dyslexia. It was an expense I hadn't planned for. I had to tell her maybe next semester, while I was wearing a brand new pair of tactical boots I didn't need and driving a truck with a monthly payment that cost more than my first apartment. I knew I was failing, but I didn't know how to stop the bleeding. I found my answer in the most unlikely place, a small, dusty watch repair shop owned by a man named Elias. Elias was 80 if he was a day. He'd lived through depressions, wars, and several currency devaluations. I brought him my father's old mechanical watch, complaining that it kept losing time. Elias opened the back of the watch, squinted through his loop, and chuckled. "Officer, this watch isn't broken," he said. "It's just burdened. There's grit in the gears. You can wind it as tight as you want. But if the friction is higher than the force, the hands will never move forward." He looked at me, really looked at me, and saw the exhaustion in my eyes. "You're like this watch, aren't you? You're winding yourself tighter every day, working harder and harder, but you aren't moving forward." I ended up staying in that shop for 3 hours. He didn't give me a stock tip or a get-rich-quick scheme. He grabbed a yellow legal pad and wrote down 4 symbols, plus, X. "This is the wealth equation," Elias said. "The world makes money complicated so they can charge you to manage it. But wealth is just primary school math." Elias pointed to the plus sign. "Most people think addition is just about the paycheck. It's not. In the wealth equation, addition is about input. Add knowledge. You need to understand how money works, not just how to earn it. If you don't know the difference between an asset and a liability, you're playing a game without knowing the rules. Add tracking. You cannot manage what you do not measure." I realized I knew every hotspot for crime in my precinct, but I didn't know where my own $50 went on a Thursday afternoon. Add security. You must add an emergency fund. Without it, every hiccup in life becomes a catastrophe that sends you back into debt. "This is where you're failing," Elias said, pointing to the minus sign. "You have a high-pressure hose, but it's full of holes. You're trying to fill the bucket, but the bottom is mesh. Subtract ego." I was spending money to look like a successful veteran officer. The truck, the gear, the expensive dinners to keep up with the guys. I had to subtract the need to impress people who didn't care about my bank balance. Subtract the ghost expenses. We looked at my bank statement. I had 11 different subscriptions. I was paying for a car wash package for a truck I rarely washed. These were micro leaks that added up to hundreds of dollars a month. Subtract emotional spending. I realized I bought things when I had a bad shift. It was retail therapy for the trauma of the job. I had to find a way to decompress that didn't involve a credit card. Multiplication, Elias whispered. is the only way to get your time back. Right now, you trade an hour of your life for a set amount of dollars. That's linear. You need to be exponential. Multiply through consistency. It's not about the big wins. It's about the small, boring wins repeated over decades. Saving $100 a month consistently is better than saving $1,000 once a year. Multiply through skills. I started using my police background to do private security consulting on the side. I turned my existing knowledge into a secondary stream of income that I didn't touch. It went straight into investments. Multiply through assets. Let your money have babies. When your money earns interest, and that interest earns interest, you've stopped being a laborer and started being a builder. Finally, Elias said, you must divide your spoils. If you wait to see what's left at the end of the month, the answer will always be zero. He told me to divide my income the moment it hit my account. Fixed costs, the roof and the lights, the future, savings and investments, the pay yourself first rule, the growth, money for books, courses, or tools, the giving. A man who doesn't give, Elias said, has a heart that's too small for a fortune. I left that shop and went home. For the first time in 25 years, I didn't ignore the mail. I opened every bill. I sat down with my wife and we did the math. We realized that by applying subtraction, we could save $800 a month without changing our quality of life, just by cutting out the waste. Within 6 months, my credit card debt, the guilt I had carried like a lead vest, was gone. Within a year, my daughter had her tutor, and I paid for it in cash. I didn't get a massive raise. I didn't win the lottery. I just stopped being a broke man who was good with numbers and became a wise man who respected the math. Most people will watch this and think, I'll start next month. But next month is a graveyard where dreams go to die. If you want to change your relationship with money, you have to do what I did in that watch shop. Tonight, log into your bank account. Write down every single cent you spent last month. No judgment, just data. Find the grit in the gears. Tomorrow, call one subscription service and cancel it. Just one. Prove to yourself that you have the power to subtract. This payday, divide your check before you spend it. Even if it's only $20 into a separate savings account you don't touch, give that $20 a job. Money isn't just math. It's a relationship. And like any relationship, it requires attention, respect, and honesty. You've spent enough time feeling like a fraud. It's time to feel the peace that comes with stability. If this resonated with you, if you've ever felt that declined card at the register or the weight of a secret debt, leave a comment below. Which rule do you need most right now? Is it subtraction? Or maybe you're ready for multiplication? Let's stop the leaks. Let's fix the watch. Your future self is waiting.